Hello, everybody, and welcome to June. If you didn't already know, Betsy and I are taking a break this month. And in place of your regularly scheduled Never Seen It episode, we're giving everybody a treat. Instead of a brand new episode of our regular show, we're giving everybody a peek behind the curtain at what we've been doing over on Patreon. For this first week, we're releasing episode 8 from year 1 of Patreon. This is from our Never Seen It Movie Club show, a show where Betsy and I talk about our favorite movies of all time. We can't cover them on the regular show because we've seen them before. This episode covers Michael Mann's Collateral from 2004. We hope you enjoy this treat. And by the way, if you go to patreon.com/neverseenitpod during the month of June, you get a 40% discount. We have never done such a huge discount. So guys, go check it out. Enjoy the episode. We'll see you next week for another episode from Patreon. Hello again from your friends at Never Seen It. This is the Never Seen It Movie Club. My name is Trent. I'm here with Betsy, like always.
Hello.
Today we are going to cover a movie from 2004, a movie that Betsy and I have both watched many, many times, like everything that we cover on this show. Today we're covering Collateral.
Celebrating its 20th anniversary this month, Trent. 20 years.
And about 20 years ago, I saw this movie in the theater.
So did I.
Yeah. And not together, of course, because, if you hadn't already heard or knew this, Betsy and I met in 2011.
Yeah.
But somehow this movie spoke to us enough to go to the theater at the time. And I do not remember hardly anything about the lead up to this movie. I went with a friend of mine that I was going to college with, mainly because I think she just wanted to go and see a movie and I just picked this one or she picked this one. I really do not remember. It was 20 years ago, but this is way before I really was following any kind of movies or film or filmmakers. So I didn't know who the hell Michael Mann was. I really didn't know who Jamie Foxx was, but I did know Tom Cruise. And I think if I had heard anything, it's that Tom Cruise plays the bad guy in this movie. If you really want to get down to a very simple fact, Tom Cruise is the bad guy in Collateral. So I remember watching this movie and being blown away. I really, really enjoyed this the first time. And every time I watch it, just like with Children of Men, our first entry into the movie club, I see something different. Every time I watch this movie, I see something in the background or I focus on something else because I already know what the main beats are. I know what the main characters are doing and saying and looking like. And the other thing I remember about seeing this movie wasn't necessarily about the movie itself. It was about my friend's reaction. Because I remember when we came out of it, she said, oh, yeah, it was fine. But I kind of checked out after the cute cop gets shot. Yeah, before anybody really knew who Mark Ruffalo was. Yeah, he was in this movie. But Betsy, that's kind of my origin story with this. What was your experience like?
So unlike you, I remember exactly the context in which I saw this movie for the first time.
Okay.
Because I saw 2 movies this day, and in my lifetime, I think this will never be topped as the strangest double feature I've ever done.
I've heard this story many times, but yes.
Yeah, so in the afternoon, I went to a movie with my brother and my cousin who was visiting from out of town, and we went and saw Napoleon Dynamite. And we had just been hanging out the rest of the afternoon, and then in the evening, my parents came to town, and she was there with her mom and
Your cousin?
my cousin, and my uncle was in town and another cousin, and we all decided to go see another movie. So there were like 11 of us, and this was the other movie we went to go see. So in the afternoon, I saw Napoleon Dynamite. In the evening, I saw Collateral. So I remember the group I was with, because it was this huge group. We took up like an entire row in the movie theater. And I had seen this other movie, which is such a strange juxtaposition.
Yeah.
And I think at the time, I also didn't really know what this movie was and hadn't been that interested in seeing it, but everybody wanted to go. And I I was old enough. I could have gone to this by myself because I was already, almost 20 years old when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But I went with the group because they wanted to see it, and it was amazing. It was a fantastic experience. Since then, it's just something I put on once in a while. And I don't remember how this came up with you and me when we started dating as to why we both enjoyed this movie. I don't even know how much time you had spent watching it after that first one until the time you and I got together. But it's something that you and I both deeply appreciate and talk about a lot. Like same with you. This was my introduction to Michael Mann. We covered Heat a few years ago, and I didn't see Heat until we watched it a few years ago.
Same.
And as far as like the rest of his filmography, I don't think I had really seen anything else in 2004. I've seen some since then, but Collateral was my first introduction to Michael Mann. And like you, I heard Tom Cruise is the villain. And we are going to talk at length about that element of this movie because to me, this is such a standout in his career.
It's very unique because you always talk about and think about and picture in your mind Tom Cruise as a leading man. He's not a villain. How could he be the villain? He's Tom Cruise.
He's one of those guys that has taken such cares on his perception and his image.
At least on screen.
Yes. And he is very careful about what roles he picks. Like, this is a guy who doesn't make bombs. He does not make movies. Now, in the 2024, when we're recording this,
right.
He is a guy that is always the hero. He doesn't die in movies. He always gets to save the day. And I think that is something that has come out after this movie. I don't think he was always of that mindset. I think as he became more powerful and more influential in the industry and got to have so much more control on his own career, that he got a little more concerned about that. I don't know what the trigger was, but this movie, when you look at what he has done in the last 20 years since then, this is unlike anything else he's been in. And he's phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah.
And I love that he took the chance to work with Michael Mann and play somebody so against type for Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and going back to what you said about the years since this movie has come out, this is a movie that I have watched, I don't know, Betsy, probably 15, 20 times.
Which is a lot for you.
I have seen this movie a lot. I have shown this movie to people. I have studied it just like I have studied Children of Men. This is a fucking film that I don't know how else to describe it other than a masterpiece. And it checks all the boxes that you and I both look for in a movie. It is a one-night movie. It is a very small cast. There's a lot of dialogue that doesn't necessarily need to be there, and it doesn't really fit with the characters all that much. Like, you wouldn't think you would have like this psychological banter between these two characters, this stone cold killer and this kind of meek and nerdy cab driver, but they have this connection that you do not have in any other kind of movie. So for that alone, I really enjoy this movie, but it's kind of everything all rolled into one here, because not only are you getting fantastic performances out of your main actors, you're getting great performances from your side characters and the extras and everybody else involved.
The casting it's so good. It's so good.
And speaking about casting, not only do you have great actors here, but Michael Mann is famous for using the city of Los Angeles as another character. The setting here just brings everything out of the content of the script. And he loves this city.
And he finds ways to make the characters in the movie feel authentic to the city.
Yeah.
Like how when Jada Pinkett first shows up on screen and she's telling the cab driver where to go, because everybody in Los Angeles spends their entire life in a fucking car, and they're just like, you need to go this way and this way and this way. Everyone has a secret route.
Everybody talks about traffic.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the SNL skit about the Californians.
Yes.
Everybody just talks about, oh no, you got to get on the 404 or the 101 or the.
Yep. And then guess Get off
entire
at
thing.
Wilshire.
Right. No, don't go that route because there's always this guy who's hanging out there. You don't want to have anything to do with him. You want to turn left on Wilshire instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all of this other stuff that is only in LA.
And it's such a vibe for the entire movie. Like, this movie is an absolute mood. There are so many interesting things about the way it looks. Like, we were just remembering that this was one of the earlier movies shot a lot on digital.
Yeah.
You know, people were still pretty much predominantly making films on film in the early 2000s.
And if you were doing digital, you had to have a very, very good reason for it.
Yeah.
Because the technology just wasn't that good enough at the time. So I think one of the early uses of digital cameras where they really made a huge investment was the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The first Lord of the Rings trilogy was shot on Red cameras. That is the brand name Red. And I remember back around this time, about 2005, I started looking and studying the Red cameras. And this is a complete non sequitur here, that I started to just watch videos. Like, I used to work at a hotel overnights as the auditor, and I had nothing but time. So I just watched people talking about these cameras and how advanced they were. I have no idea if Michael Mann used Red cameras on this shoot, but this era of filmmaking was very interesting when it comes to a technology standpoint, because everybody saw what happened with episode 1. Everybody saw what happened with the advent of all this extra digital technology, and filmmakers just were kids in a candy store. They could do anything. They could adjust the lighting on the fly. They could use so many different kinds of lenses that would lend or deter from the quality of your film. It's just incredible.
And the fact that he's able to find a balance in this movie where he knows, because he's a good filmmaker and has been doing this for a while, the kinds of lighting and the certain settings where he really should be using this kind of a medium versus that kind. So,
and
like,
when you're shooting at night,
yeah.
it's very
Oh
important
my
that you
God.
get the exact right shots and the right lenses and the right everything.
This movie looks completely different if he did it all on film, because nighttime on film is really, really hard.
It's tricky. You got to have the right lighting, and honestly, I don't expect that there's a whole lot of artificial lighting here to light up all these characters. It is just the ambient light of the city.
It's the ambiance of the city across the board, not just the light, the sound, the music, the clash,
traffic.
the clash of cultures that we experience as we're going through the film.
That is LA.
And you and I have never been to Los Angeles, but I get a real sense of, if you asked people, you know, the Angelinos, as it were, what are some movies that to you scream LA? I feel like this has to be amongst them.
This is definitely one of them, but also I am reminded of the TV show on FX, The Shield.
Yep.
The Shield is all set in LA. They use some fake names for some of the communities in
The
LA.
neighborhoods.
Yeah, for that show. But again, it is the vibes of everything. It is everybody just playing their local flavor of music on one street corner. That you go to the next street corner is something completely different. And the entire community is just cacophonous with their own brand of sound, that it just takes everything over, which I also think that Michael Mann realizes this, because at the beginning of the movie, when we're trying to introduce Max as a character in the cab, there's all this stuff happening in this shop where they're cleaning the cabs and they're working on the cabs and everybody's kind of yelling over each other.
The radio's on. And
all this stuff is happening. And as soon as he closes the door, it's all gone. All of the audio cuts out and he can just relax.
This is his clean, quiet universe.
This is the thing that he has control over.
And it's his safe space. Like, he he likes a clean cab, and he keeps saying this is temporary. He's got these dreams. He's going to do all this stuff, but this is really his world. This tiny little space. It's a temporary job that he's been doing for 12 years. Yes, sweetie, this is your life now. And then we're introduced to the first fare of the night, which is Dodie Elfman and Debbie Mazar, inexplicably, like actual people I recognize. It could have just been nobodies. The fact that he made the choice to cast recognizable actors as the couple fighting in his backseat.
I don't know how recognizable they were in 2004.
The fact that I know who Dodie Elfman is at all should tell you everything you need to know about me.
It's true. But this is also introducing the idea that Max, whenever people are just up in his business, when it comes to his cab. Him allowing people in his cab is kind of an inconvenience or an annoyance for him, rather, where whenever people are annoying him while he's driving, he just flips down his visor and he goes on a little siesta. He goes to his island in the Maldives, I think he says.
I don't even know. I just
He
know
does say it at one
he
point.
sort of spaces out and he
Yeah.
goes to a place that isn't real.
Yeah, so I like that idea. It's kind of like the Clerks thing. Man, this job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers. Yeah, I think he would just completely vibe out. He would be a great truck driver for anything else. So
So it really is when he gets to explaining his dream. He wants to start his own company. He likes driving. He likes Los Angeles. He knows the
Yeah,
city. He
it's
knows
his
this
home.
job, but he's not brave enough to try it. But he says, I've got this idea. I want to get island limos and it's a getaway and you don't want it's a whole groove, a vibe.
he has it all planned out in his head. You got to get the client list. You got to get the wheels. You got to get credit. You got to get all the stuff lined up. But he hasn't made step one.
But he's concerned about it being perfect. He won't do anything until it's perfect. And this entire movie is all about jazz and improvising.
Improvisation.
And watching him go on this arc of everything needs to be perfect to where the movie ends and he's making bold moves and saving people's lives and, shooting people in self-defense. That arc is enormous from where it starts.
It takes the Tom Cruise character to be introduced to him, to literally put a gun to his head, to decide, I need to make a change. I need to be bold. I need to actually do something. I need to take action.
Yeah, to steal from another Frank Darabont property, get busy living or get busy dying. I didn't know until today that he produced this movie.
That's incredible. Yeah, wow.
But that's basically what the vibe is.
It is.
He has this interaction with Jada Pinkett Smith, and she is this cool lawyer. This what is she?
She's a prosecutor. Yeah, she is a prosecutor, a federal prosecutor.
She's a federal prosecutor.
Yeah.
And he has this super relaxed conversation. He's just sort of effortlessly flirting with her. And I don't even think he knows how effortless this is for him. And he clearly wants to say something or make a move, but he is but a lowly cab driver.
I think that's the thing. He is oblivious to, hey, this chick, she's kind of vibing on you, buddy.
He's oblivious to his own charm.
Yeah.
That he has any.
And because he is so confident in what he does, and hey, if you do something for 12 years, hey, you're going to get pretty good at it.
Yeah, especially
whether you want to or not.
Especially in Los Angeles. That dude knows every fucking street in this town.
He knows it to the minute.
Yes.
How long it's going to take.
He's like,
from
3 minutes from here, 3 minutes to there. It'll be 6 minutes.
And then,
exactly.
and then 1 minute leeway for some bullshit to happen. Yeah.
But yeah, she is the one that makes the move on him. And she's not even really sure why, but they sort of have this little moment where they connect. And she says, you know what? Here's my card. She walks away and comes back. And he is in such a daze that she deigned to talk to him.
This is the thing that we kind of talked about here while we were watching the movie. I feel like Annie is kind of surprised and impressed at the fact that he is paying attention to her. He's listening to what she's saying.
And asking questions.
Being very curious about what she does. Because a lot of other people you think of, okay, she's a prosecutor for the feds. Oh, geez, that's really intimidating.
Especially in Los Angeles, where people tend not to like people who are either the law or associated with the law.
Maybe? I don't know. But I feel like if you look at her face, she's kind of surprised at you really care about what I'm saying. You really are interested in what I'm saying. So guess what? I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable here, and I'm going to tell you something that I never tell anybody. I cry the night before a big trial starts, and that's what's going to happen the next day. She's going to go in, she's going to be in her office the entire night and go over everything yet again. She's maybe going to get a couple hours sleep and go into the courtroom the next day, which is why this night of all nights is extremely important. Because if you don't have all those witnesses that Vincent is going around murdering, you can't have a trial.
And the fact that we set up that he is interested and he cares, it sets up Max as a complete opposite to Vincent, who spends most of the movie talking about basically nihilism and how the,
Yep, that was the word I was going to use.
How dare you lecture me about me murdering a guy when 10,000 people died yesterday in Rwanda? Did you bat an eye? You don't give a fuck. You cannot take the moral high ground in this world where you and I are both so tiny.
We got however many billion people on this planet. I off one fat guy and you want to throw a hissy fit?
Yeah.
When you didn't bat an eye at the 10,000 people who got murdered in Rwanda before breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about that. And he even says, yeah, I don't know any Rwandans. So, well, you didn't know that guy either. So why do you care?
But that's the point. He does care.
Yeah,
he cares about his fellow man and absolute strangers. The fact, like, when the way Max reacts to when Mark Ruffalo's character gets shot, he has known him for approximately 45 seconds. 45 seconds he's known this cop, and then he dies. And he is like, you didn't need to kill that guy. He was a good man.
Yeah,
How do you know that? Because you believe it.
He goes from 0 to 10 immediately because, yes, this cop was there to get him out. He believes him. He's there to get Max out of the situation. But then he's back in the cab with Vincent, and all he's thinking about is, oh, man, why'd you have to kill that cop? He says his name. He says he's probably got a wife and kids back home. But why did you need to do that?
Yeah. He cares about people and he can read them, which is exactly the thing he calls out Vincent for not being able to do. He's like, I'll bet if I asked you to look at a person and tell me about them, you couldn't do it. And that
he can't do it to himself either.
Scares the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting dynamic because, of course, Vincent is cold, calculated lone wolf. And that is emphasized with his styling. I fucking love how Tom Cruise looks in this movie. It is probably the best he's ever looked in a movie, and it's because he doesn't look like Tom Cruise. And they give him a beard. His eyebrows are painted up gray to match this haircut that he's got. And he's got white and gray hair and a gray suit. He's not wearing a tie. You know, when you first are introduced, he's wearing sunglasses and it makes him really intense. And it's just a very cold, distant type of character for this guy who we have been spending, the last 20 years, almost 20 years of our lives at that point, watching him be a hero. The context of Tom Cruise for us growing up in the 80s and 90s, this is not that Tom Cruise.
Definitely not. And like you said, it is a cold, standoffish kind of a look where he's wearing the sunglasses, he's wearing the expensive suit. He walks with purpose everywhere he goes. He is like taking 3 steps for every step that he's actually taking. And that's coming from a short-legged Tom Cruise.
He walks with purpose. He has such determination this entire movie, and very little rattles him. Like, he's at the end of the movie like the fucking Terminator. Like watching the another LA movie, watching T2 Judgment Day.
I suppose,
it's like the Robert Patrick thing where he is just stone-faced and chasing. He is in pursuit. And that last act of the movie, it's like a fucking horror film. Honest to God, nothing is going to stop this man. Yeah,
and the only thing, like talking about being rattled, I think the only thing that really rattles him is when Max starts to talk back to him and he speeds up the cab. And this is the one time that Vincent is not in control. Every other time in this movie, Vincent is testing Max, or he's setting up other people to be murdered in the most efficient way. He is in control 100% of the time, except when Max is behind the wheel and he doesn't care about death.
No, and again, it takes so long for him to get to that point because he is scared shitless the first time it happens. So when we're introduced, I'm going to touch back on this. There's a lot of coincidences and destiny and intertwining fates in this movie. But Max drops off Annie, and he is in such a state that he's been given her card that he spaces out and forgets to flip the little sign that says the cab's available. And he's just sitting there and he almost misses this fare entirely. Mm-hmm. He is at the building where Vincent is. And we don't even really process the fact that Vincent has been scoping out this building at the beginning of the movie.
A few times I saw this movie, I never realized Vincent was in her building doing whatever, probably doing some kind of reconnaissance to
Or that's
find out
just where he got off the subway or something.
I suppose that's also true, but he's also coming down from the stairs. He's going downstairs, and the subway is on the ground level.
Okay, that's fair.
But still, he's in her building doing God knows what. Most likely doing reconnaissance as far as, okay, where is Annie's office?
And how do I get in and how do I get out?
Also, I don't think I noticed until today, when he is coming out, when he's making his way out, he has a code to put into the little keypad to get out of wherever he was.
Yeah. So somebody on the inside was helping him. He got a lot of information.
Yeah, most likely he got all that information from the packet that he got from, Betsy, we have to talk about this because Jason Statham is also in this movie.
One scene wonder, Jason Statham.
Yeah, and at the time, this came out in 2004. A little movie came out a little bit prior to this movie coming out called The Transporter. And Betsy, I love The Transporter, the original Transporter with Jason Statham. And
I have seen The Transporter. That's what we'll leave it at.
I really like The Transporter. I don't care what anybody says. But that is the first introduction to Jason Statham, to me anyway, and to probably a whole lot of other people.
Yeah, he was up and coming around this time.
And I feel like this is true based on a lot of other things that have come out about Collateral and just Michael Mann talking about it. The understanding is that this Jason Statham that shows up in Collateral is the same character that he plays in The Transporter because he's delivering a package to a known criminal. And he doesn't know what it is.
And Michael Mann has basically said as much.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, no, it's the same guy.
Yeah, sure, why not? Whether he meant to have that happen or not, or whether or not it was in the script or not, when he cast Jason Statham as the guy he runs into, it doesn't matter. It's a much better, it's a much better theory in my mind anyway.
It could have been a nobody. And at this time,
it could have been anybody.
At this time, Jason Statham wasn't a nobody, but he wasn't a household name, certainly. So watching it now, it is interesting that they cast him and not just some guy.
And he was also in the Italian Job remake that came out in 2003.
Yeah.
So he was on a streak here of some fucking movies.
Yeah.
That's the best way I know how to describe it. But
Michael Mann likes to cast some interesting people in his films.
He does.
Like when we watched Heat, it was like every other scene we were freaking out about who was in that movie.
He has a big crew, yeah.
But yeah, they meet up. He gets the dossier. He's in the building where Annie is. And he gets into Max's cab. And the interaction they have here is he starts kind of doing the same thing Annie was, but instead of Max initiating it, Vincent is initiating it. And they have at points in this movie almost verbatim conversations. But the way Max kind of puts up the wall, the emotional wall, and he's not really chatting with this guy, it's an interesting dynamic when you see how different he reacts to Vincent being in his cab at first, to Annie. And then, Vincent is pressing him. He's trying to see if this is the guy to do the job for him.
Yeah, he's testing like how he reacts to things. He asks him a bunch of questions like, okay, how much do you pull down a night? And he says, oh yeah, like $300-400 at most. And he says, okay, how about $600? I am going to guarantee that you make more money with me if you just break this one rule than what you would make the entire night.
Yeah, keep the fair running. Let's go.
Yeah.
But he asks him a bunch of kind of annoying personal questions like the chatterbox who gets in your car and you're not really that interested in talking to them. Like this is a modern experience too when you're getting in like a Lyft or an Uber or something. You don't know when the driver's going to want to talk to you and when they do not want to talk to the passengers.
Yeah, and this is probably the only thing that really dates this movie other than, the cell phone stuff. It's just cabs in general. I know they still exist, but the cabs for hire these days are all just fucking Uber and Lyft.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in this conversation, Max is very, not really wanting to volunteer information. And Vince is asking him about, okay, you've been doing this for temporary. Like, how long have you actually been doing this? 12 years. And he just kind of drops that little nugget there like it's nothing. But no, dude, a temporary job does not last for 12 years.
No, Vincent acquires all the information he needs in this scene. He says, this is the guy, I'm going to pay him, and I'm going to be able to push him around all night.
Yeah. It's at this moment, about 20 minutes in. I clocked it. It was just over 19 minutes into the movie. This is where the first hit happens. Max is just in his car. He's going to have a sandwich like he would every other night. And all of a sudden, a fucking body falls out of the sky onto his cab, and it's on.
Yeah, the movie, when it starts, it fucking starts. And it is jarring. There are some things in this movie that happen so suddenly and unexpectedly.
Yeah, that's the Michael Mann way.
Yeah. And you even see the shot, like he does the zoom in from the perspective of the body going towards the cab.
It's a slow motion body falling out of a sky. Oh, yeah.
And when Vincent comes running, I love the line where Max says, wait, he's processing what just happened. And he says, you killed him? And he says, no, I shot him. The bullets in the fall killed him.
like being very technical.
Like he's so disassociated from
his
humanity
actions.
And his own actions. He is a cold-blooded killer. And that is, now he's just trying to figure out, okay, what do I do? I've got a witness. We got to get through this. And they just go to work, load up the body, clean up the car, get in the fucking cab.
Yeah, and all of this is just by chance. By chance, this guy he shot was over by the window and he fell out of the window. If he didn't do that, Max wouldn't have a clue what just happened.
Yeah.
He's just going on to the next thing because he said, oh, I'm in town. I'm a real estate agent. I'm closing some deals. I just have to see some friends and sign some paperwork and I'll be back to LAX in the morning.
Yeah, and you just drive me around and I'll pay you $600 and it'll all be great. And we know pretty soon after this, as we're introduced to the Mark Ruffalo character, they're really good at introducing these nuggets of information that are really important through his character.
Mm-hmm.
Like they mention the name Felix because he goes to see his informant, who happens to be the man who fell out a window.
Right.
And he says something about Felix. We don't know who Felix is. But then they also later on mention, remember a few years ago in Oakland, there was the situation where a cab driver went around killing people all night and then he killed himself.
Yeah.
So we know so early on in this movie what happened in Oakland without being told what happened in Oakland. And we also can extrapolate what is going to happen to Jamie Foxx at the end of this night.
Yeah, because Vincent is kind of teasing it out of him saying, okay, man, if you and I get out of this tonight, if we get out of here alive, then you're going to have, a great story. Or if you do get out of this, you need to call that girl. You need to call that girl.
But he even refers to we. We are in this together. He doesn't say you. He says we. It's not that he is taking him captive. He's not talking in that situation like that's what's going on here, even though that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
He says, you and I are partners in this. You've seen what I'm doing, and you are now participating. Like, you're going to drive me around.
Mm-hmm.
And the ebbs and flows of when he turns on the charm and and other times where he's trying to scare Max and other times where he's trying to make Max feel at ease. It is this interesting roller coaster that you're on where the car is fucked up. They get pulled over and he says, do not let me get cornered. If I am a cornered animal, I'm going to lash out.
He also says, you don't have the trunk space, which is a kind of a good joke.
So he basically tells this guy, I'm going to kill these cops if you don't talk our way out of this.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot my way out of whatever bad situation that I'm in. I do not care. I will shoot you in the process if you get in my way. But because throughout the course of the movie, Max proves himself to be not only useful, but resourceful. He knows how to get himself out of a bad jam. He knows when to turn it on, which just makes Vincent keep him around. He could have killed him at any time. He should have killed him after he tosses his case onto the highway.
But he genuinely likes Max, which is an interesting dynamic, which is why another reason he says, we are in this together. We are a team. But even that scene that we were just talking about, this is the first time Max is challenged. He's just seen a guy killed and he is in the car with the killer and he is fucking shaken up. This is nothing he's ever experienced before. And now he's being threatened and this guy is threatening the lives of the cops who are coming over there. And it is all reliant on Max to keep his cool. And they almost don't get away with it. The cops are in the process of getting them out of the vehicle. Vincent has his hand on his gun,
Yep,
and
his
shit
fingers
is
on the
about
trigger.
to go down. And it's just chance that the cops get a call of an active like shooting. There's gunshots, and it's a more important situation. So they let him go and say, just take the cab back. Like, now,
Yeah,
get it off the streets.
do what you say you were going to do. We don't care if you're lying to us about the South Central deer that you hit.
But yeah, the first time it happens, he almost doesn't get away with it. And then as we find ourselves in more and more of these situations where they almost get ruined, the situation gets busted up.
Yeah.
His reactions change and he becomes more resourceful. You're right.
And just going on what you said about Vincent actually does like Max. When they stop at the second hit, Vincent ties Max to the steering wheel. But right as Vincent was about to leave, he starts getting the call from his dispatch asking, where the fuck are you at, man? You haven't checked in. Or I actually just got a call from the cops saying that you crashed the car.
Yes.
And Max is being his meek self and saying, oh, it was an accident, blah,
And the
blah, blah.
boss is threatening to make him pay for the damages, which he
Yeah.
can't do. He cannot do that. That's
No.
not how business works.
Yeah, and because Tom Cruise, his character is more assertive in anything.
And morally flexible.
He knows that this is all bullshit and his boss shouldn't be doing that. He knows better. So he's listening in and just kind of trying to coach Max as to how to respond.
How to be more assertive.
Yeah, and he says, yeah, you don't need this. He says, I need this job. And Tom says, no, you don't need this
You
job.
don't.
You don't. I know you based on the little information that I know about you already. You don't need this fucking job. You can get something better. So they have this interaction with the boss over the radio, and Vincent puts on this what is he? He says he's some kind of a prosecutor himself, or like district
I work
attorney,
in the federal office,
something
and
like
I'm going
that.
to take your ass to prison, basically.
Yeah, you know darn well that your liability insurance is going to cover this. He's not liable. Why you're trying to extort a working man?
Yeah. It's a weird little dynamic where there must be something in his past that he doesn't like bullies.
Well, he even says at the end of the movie, I've been in the private sector, quote unquote, for 6 years. So whatever he did prior to this, maybe he was in the military, maybe he was working for an organization of some kind.
Black ops nonsense.
Who the hell knows? But in this scene, again, he coaches Max on what to say to his boss. He says, you're an asshole and blah, blah, blah. And when Tom gets out of the car, he kind of looks back at Max saying, hey, good job. I knew you had it in you.
Gives him that look.
Yeah. Gives him that knowing look. But of course, right after he comes back down from the second hit, Max is tied up to the steering wheel and he gets robbed at gunpoint. And these guys take the briefcase that is in the back seat. Tom Cruise comes down and says his famous line from this movie, which I have no idea why it is this, why this line of all lines in this movie kind of got famous. He comes down and says, yo, homie, that my briefcase? Or something like that.
It's really stupid.
It's very stupid. But yeah, he executes these guys as very much collateral damage. It's the name. They do say the name of the movie in this.
They do. They don't have a title card, though. That's till the very end of the credits, apparently.
It's true.
Something I never noticed till today.
Yeah. And of course, it's at this point that Vincent realizes, yeah, Max is again resourceful. He's using everything at his disposal. He turns on the blinker lights, the hazard lights. He uses the horn to get people's attention. It didn't work this time, but he might succeed later.
Yeah. At this point, then, we're again treated to Vincent trying a different tactic with Max, because he says, great news, we're ahead of schedule. And I heard about this jazz club,
Yeah.
like trying to make him feel like super relaxed, like we're going to bring the energy down. It's been kind of intense.
Yeah,
so let's bring it down.
They're at this gas station. I noticed something here that I've never noticed before. This is immediately after he has to kill these other two guys that he did not want to have to kill. And you can see Tom Cruise being a little agitated. He's not very agitated the rest of the movie, but he's using this as an opportunity, like you said. It's like, okay, I'm going to use this guy to be my friend at this club, and I'm not just going to go in there guns blazing and try to kill this guy.
And I'm also not going to tie him up again, because look at what happened last time.
Exactly. I'm going to try to be friendly with this guy. I'm going to share something that I enjoy, which is jazz. He's going to go to the club and have this little scene with this club owner.
And it feels like it literally is just he's trying to be super casual and enjoy the evening. And it's not until there's a turn.
Right. Because why would you think that you would need to do a hit at a jazz club?
Exactly. It's absolutely incongruous with the rest of the people we've met so far. Because first it was just this low-level thug in a shitty apartment. Then it's this rich guy in a high-rise. And now we're going to a jazz club. So this is where I talk about the clash of cultures, where we have now seen 3 distinctly different parts of LA and 3 distinctly different situations where these victims are.
Yeah, the first guy is a Hispanic guy. He's a criminal informant for the prosecution. The second guy is I think he's another
attorney.
Yeah,
he's like a dirty attorney.
Dirty attorney. Yeah. Come to my band, Dirty Attorney. The third guy is this African-American jazz club owner with a shady past. We get revealed here in this jazz club scene that he mentions just very briefly that, oh yeah, I did some other stuff here after I got drafted and got out of the military. Oh, oops, I got clean after that. And then the fourth guy is this Asian guy who is a bigwig at this
who owns
club,
a nightclub. Yeah.
Who owns a nightclub. And the final one being, of course, the federal prosecutor, which is, I feel like on the bingo card, if you want to call it that, she's the free space. Like, okay, if you kill all these other ones, I'm probably in the clear. If you don't get the prosecutor, then okay, it's fine. The case is going to go away anyway. But just for me, could you please just kill the prosecutor?
Because she's the one coming after me, and that's pissing me off.
Exactly.
And then in between here, we also get to meet Felix, who is at this bar/club that is full of like
it's like Mexican cowboys.
Mexican cowboys.
Yeah, that's the only way I can describe it.
Cali Mex is about the best way I could describe this
Totally.
club.
And like you said, this is a vibe of what LA is. It is a huge melting pot of people from all over the place.
But getting back to the momentum of the movie, at this point when we're in the club, it slows down quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody is feeling more relaxed, just like Max is feeling it. And they're just having like a fun conversation with this cool dude who plays jazz and has a lot of stories about the time he met Miles Davis. And Vincent clearly has a genuine interest in the art form. And he's talking about improvising in jazz and, going with the flow the entire movie.
And you can see his face while he's watching this performance happen. And he's transfixed by it all. Like he loves it. And I don't appreciate jazz like a lot of other people do, but I'm not one of these guys who is just like, oh no, jazz is just, they're just playing their instruments to play them. There's no like rhythm to any of it. No, it is incredibly difficult to make jazz sound good.
There is a lot of complexity to it. It just sounds like noise to some people, but then somebody like Vincent hears the beauty in it. And you can watch him in this scene that feels like it's so casual, but he's clocking who's in the space and have they left and do we have witnesses?
Exactly. That's another thing that I realized the first time while watching it today. While they're sitting at the table with this guy he's going to kill.
And you don't know he's going to kill him.
You don't know that. Tom Cruise is just kind of scoping out. He is asking the right questions so that it doesn't look weird when he's looking around the room. And he's just noticing when everybody is clearing out. And when everybody clears out, the din of this room that is being recorded here, the audio din completely drops out as soon as he reveals, oh, I should tell my friends over at whatever the fuck he says.
In Cartagena.
Those, yeah.
He says a trigger word, and the look that comes over this guy's face, he knows he's fucked.
Yes, he knows what's coming next.
Yeah, and this is a sequence, again, where Vincent seemingly is going to give this guy a chance. However, he doesn't mean it.
No.
He gives him a question, a jazz question, and he says, if you get it right, I'll let you go.
And this is also, I'm sure, a tactic to make the man feel like he's going to get away with it.
Yeah. But there's this moment I hadn't noticed at the end of this. He shoots the guy. As he's slumping over, he stands up and he catches him. He catches his face and like gently lays him onto the table. And he finishes the thought.
Yep.
And there's just this tiny reaction where you can tell Vincent did not want to kill this guy.
He wanted to keep on sitting there and talking about Miles
Yeah.
Davis and jazz in general with this guy. He doesn't want to have to do this.
It is the closest thing to a glimpse of this inner person that he is that you get in this entire movie. Just that little fraction of a moment that I never really saw it until today, but I'm like, what is that look? What does that mean? Because he just reacts the tiniest bit and then he pulls himself back together.
Did you also notice, I don't think this is related, but did you also notice Tom Cruise grabs his hand and like puts it next to his head?
Kind of covers the bullets.
No, it's not even that. It's kind of like he put his head down and he passed out.
Yeah, he's arranging the body.
He's posing the body to make it seem like if anybody else walks by, oh no, he just kind of passed out or he's taking a nap.
It's the running theme in this movie of people in LA do not care. They don't care about what's going. They don't notice things.
They don't notice a corpse in their presence.
So how long is it going to take if this guy is just laying on the table with a bunch of drink glasses for people to notice he's not drunk, he's dead?
And a lot of the other hits that he does are very loud hits. Like that first one, there is a trail. There's all that glass, all the blood there. There's evidence.
It's not clean the way he likes it to be.
Exactly. Which is why he's kind of jumpy at that gas station scene, because he just had to kill a couple of guys that he didn't need to kill and just left the bodies there because they don't have the trunk space.
Yeah. He's just like, well, let's get the hell out of here. Nobody's going to find those bodies for a hot minute anyway.
Let's kind of reset here. Let's do something easy and do this kind of a social engineering thing where he's lulling him into a sense of calm so that he can just get him right where he wants him.
And then, of course, after this, the guy on dispatch keeps calling Max again because his mother is relentlessly calling, wondering where her son is because she's in the hospital and she expects a visit every single day and he hasn't shown up.
Yep.
And because Vincent is a creature of routine and keeping things organized and he doesn't want anything going wrong tonight any more than it already has, he says, you go every night? Well, then you've got to go.
Yeah.
We got to go.
You're breaking routine. We cannot have people looking around for you.
We don't want the cops out for you. We don't want anybody who works with you out for you. Let's go because it'll get her to stop calling and nobody's going to ask any questions. And this is another interesting scene where Vincent says, you got to buy your mom some flowers. And Max tells him, that's not going to mean anything to her. She'll say it's a waste of money.
Yeah,
I know my own mom.
Yeah, I know exactly what she's going to say. She's going to say, well, what am I going to do with flowers?
Yeah. And he ignores him and Vincent buys flowers. And immediately this woman says, what am I going to do with those? There's such a waste of space. Why did you waste the money? But the second she finds out they're not from her son, they are from this other man, she changes her demeanor so quickly. They're beautiful.
Oh, you bought me flowers? Oh, they're beautiful. And then in this little scene here, Tom Cruise, his face and his body just kind of perk up because he's being praised by this woman.
And he later in the movie says he didn't know his own mom. I said something about he must be buying the flowers because this is a guy who loves his mom. No, it's exactly the opposite. He never knew what it was like to have a mom.
Right.
Whether this is true or not, but I assume because most of what he has said to Max has been true the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's just a natural reaction he has.
Yeah, he just genuinely is trying to impress this woman because he never got the chance to impress his own mother. Yeah. And his dad sucked. His dad was a bully who sucked.
Again, could be complete bullshit from him, but these genuine moments here where he, like I said, he kind of perks up when the mother is praising him, whether it's his mom or not, it doesn't matter.
He's receiving a compliment.
Yes, a genuine compliment.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's enough for Max to be like, fuck this, because she never praises me like that. And also I need to get the hell out of this situation.
He finds an opportunity here to make a run for it.
And it's the first time in the movie we see him make a decision.
Yeah.
Like he decides in that moment to do something and he fucking does it. And he grabs that case and he throws it onto the fucking freeway.
Yeah. And this is also a really great moment here where he's got him dead to rights. By every movie I've ever seen, Vincent should be shooting Max and getting the fuck out of there.
No hesitation.
Yes.
On that bridge, he's all alone. What the fuck's going to happen?
His mind is still racing here as to what to do. I can't let this guy out of my sight, so I either have to shoot him dead or I can continue to use him, which is, okay, this is where the movie kind of turns. Because not only do we have all these scenes with Vincent and Max doing their thing throughout the night, but we also have the cops doing their thing. They're kind of 2 or 3 steps behind all of these other murders. And we barely talked about Mark Ruffalo here. He is a narcotics detective who was going to be checking in on this first witness. And he doesn't really know what this big federal case is with Felix. He just is aware that there is a federal case against Felix.
And his boss tells him, we can't get
Peter
involved.
Peter Berg also is there saying, you know what, man, I'm not even going to go after this guy because the feds are just going to come in and take all the credit away.
Yeah.
And all we care about as cops is getting credit for taking down bad guys. We don't care about getting rid of bad guys. We just want credit for it.
But he says, don't waste your time because it's going to go back to them. The case is just going to get kicked back up to the federal level. And he's not satisfied with that. He smells a rat. He's like, there is something
here.
Yeah, he's using his instincts and he says, something's going on. You know, he's in the morgue. And there's this fun little moment where he is at the hospital at the same time. Again, coincidence and chance and destiny. He's in the fucking elevator standing next to Vincent and he's standing in front of Max.
They even talk to each other.
And they have no idea that this is the guy the other one should be worried about.
Right.
But in the morgue, the guy in the morgue says, I think these unrelated parties were killed by the same guy because look at the bullet wounds.
Yeah, and it's not until he opens up the lawyer guy who got axed that he realizes, oh shit, I know this guy.
Something is going down tonight.
All of this, like the CI that he was going to visit, this is his lawyer. This is his dirty lawyer. So he's finally putting the pieces together to say something big is going down and we need to get in touch with the FBI guys who are surveilling Felix. And this is where things start to converge because Tom Cruise says to Max, okay, you're going to go inside of this club and say that you're me.
Yeah, you're so good at talking now.
Yep.
Fucking go talk.
Like your life is on the line. If you don't do it, I'm going to kill you. If you go in there and you don't do it well, they're going to kill you. So you better put on your best acting hat, Mr. Max.
Where we get introduced to Javier Bardem, another person who I'd never seen before this movie.
Absolutely.
And I kind of still to this day forget he is in this because he's only in the one scene he filmed for like 2 days and that's it.
Yeah.
And he has to ask this guy, this tough Felix character, for the list. He needs to get the last 2 names because even though Vincent has now been delayed, he says, you are screwing with my work and you think we're fucking done? No, I told you 5 stops. We're only at 3. We're only halfway done. You get me that fucking list. And so it's an interesting tension builder throughout the movie because you know there is a clock. 5.
Yep.
The number is 5. We don't know who it is. We don't know where they're going to go, but we know it's 5. And so he has to go in here and get the information. And Max, again, is really meek at the beginning and very soft-spoken. And it's not until he is put into that corner that he puts on his best Vincent impersonation. And he says, tell that fucking guy to put his gun away or I'll bitch slap him with it or something. And he cooks up a story about why he had to ditch the information. There's cops on my tail and fucking give me the list so I can get out of here. I don't want to be here any more than you want me here.
And it's at this moment that he takes the glasses off and he becomes a different person.
This guy in this scene, from where we first meet Max, like the first time Vincent kills somebody, this is such a different person.
It is.
He is going on. He's having a night. He's having a night, to say the least. But he gets it. He gets in and he gets the information and they leave onward to place number 4. But they're being surveilled. So all at the same time, the federal cops say, we know where he's going. It's a club called Fever, and we're going to get our next witness before another person gets killed. And Mark Ruffalo is told to drop it, and he says, fuck that. There's something up because the feds think Max is the guy.
Yeah, this is the moment where the third person is now found out that these are all witnesses here, and the feds know that, and they're freaking out. Okay, fuck. Who else is on the witness list? Okay, it's this guy. So this is where he is. Let's go get him before the assassins can go and get him.
But yeah, they go, but they think they're after Max. Mark
Right.
Ruffalo still doesn't believe that Max is the guy. He still thinks there was somebody else in that car in the other case.
He's looking at the camera saying, hey, is there anybody else in that cab? I still think there might be another guy.
So he's going over there. Max and Vincent are going over there. And then, of course, Felix also sends his guys in case anything goes wrong. So all of the parties are going to converge at this nightclub. And this is one of the greatest scenes in this movie. It is so intense so quickly. And it even carries out that idea that people don't care. Like, as Vincent is getting closer to his mark, there are security guys in his way. And he is like snapping people's necks and shooting them in the kneecaps, and nobody fucking bats an eye. People are just dancing in this club.
Yeah, not until the shots start going off en masse that people start reacting. And I agree. This scene in the nightclub is maybe one of the best, like, I don't even want to call it an action scene because that seems to be like discounting it. No, this is intense. It is loud. There's so much happening all at once. The camera keeps cutting. And I think you said that this is actually a movie that got nominated for Best Editing.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about Oscars at the end here, but this movie got nominated for Best Film Editing.
Yeah, and it shows in this scene, if nothing else.
Throughout the whole movie, but here in particular, because the way it is edited together, you see Max and Vincent separate. Vincent is going in pursuit of his mark. Max ends up running into Mark Ruffalo's character, and he says, I'm a cop, I'm going to get you out of here. And the way they edit it, it feels like those two are leaving the building first and that Vincent is still inside, when in reality, it's kind of shown to us out of sequence, and Vincent is already outside in the cab.
Right.
So when Mark Ruffalo gets shot, it is so fucking shocking because your brain thinks Vincent's still in that building.
Yeah.
And it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I think when they leave, when they start driving away, Max is in such shock. Even after all the stuff that he's already gone through, he is in such shock that he sideswipes another car that is right next to the cab. And this is where his inner Vincent starts to come out, because they start to have this intense conversation about, Vincent is throwing it in Max's face, saying, you were never going to call that girl. How about just a down payment on a car, or just something? Make the first step, for fuck's sake. Do something.
You keep saying your life is so hard. It's not fucking hard.
You can't even call that girl.
Man up and make a decision and make the move. He calls him out on all his bullshit, all the things that have been hanging him up about changing his life.
And Max says, you know what? You're right. I'm going to take responsibility for my current lot in life, and I'm going to start with you. If you say that life is fleeting and there's no point to anything, and one life is just as valuable as another,
invaluable as another.
Excuse me. He decides, you know what? I'm just going to crash this cab so that this night can be over.
Yeah, I'm fucking done. Whatever happens, fuck you. He says, fuck you. And
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, rolls the cab. And they somehow both manage to walk away. But this is the first opportunity that he's been free of Vincent the whole night. Yeah. And he is so thrilled when the cop who saw him roll the car tries to arrest him. He's like, yes, arrest me, please. Thank you.
Yeah, and in this moment, he realizes the final mark is Annie.
Yeah.
And
he could walk away. He could go and get himself arrested and let what happens to her happen. But he actually as we keep saying, he gives a shit. Yeah. He cares about this person he just met. He cares about her abstractly, if nothing else, because he thinks human beings have value, where Vincent clearly does not.
Yeah.
And luckily, because we know he dropped her off at the beginning of the movie, he knows exactly where she is.
Totally.
So he, again, makes a decision to go and help her. And he picks up a gun and he cuffs a cop and he says, I'm so sorry. Please call the cops.
I'm going here.
I'm going to this building.
Yeah.
And this sequence is amazing, where he is down on the ground on a parking ramp looking up into a building, and the only lights in the building on are in her office and up in the file room, basically.
And this is also pretty much the only moment in the movie where we get a score, because previously a whole lot of this movie's music and sound in general was all licensed music, or it is
Or techno.
songs of some kind. It is
Mood.
not a score.
No.
But no, this is where all the fucking percussion comes in. This movie has a fantastic soundtrack beginning to end.
Score and soundtrack.
Yes, everything.
But there's a genuine like horror element to this last act of the movie because
Yes.
like Vincent kills the lights and the killer is in the house and she knows it. Like he walks by the glass in the room and you just see this ominous shadow.
Yeah.
And because this whole office is glass and it's an action movie where we have to break the glass, there's just lights from the city reflecting. And that's kind of all you see is shadows and the lights of the city. And just when you think she's going to die, because, you know, Max is on the cell phone trying to warn her, it drops the call or his battery dies.
Which is another horror movie
It's
trope.
totally a trope. But he gets there just in time to stop Vincent. And Vincent even calls him out. He says, what are you going to do about it, Max?
Max? Yeah, and he shoots him in the ear.
But he
he
shoots him.
He does shoot him. I mean,
10 minutes ago, he had never fired a gun, I bet, because
Exactly.
he didn't know how to take the safety off.
which is exactly why he shoots him in the ear and not anywhere else.
He's not a good shot.
He's not. But yeah, this is where, again, it kind of turns where Max has the upper hand. He has the final mark in his possession, which is the person. He is escaping, trying to outsmart him as they're escaping. But no, Vincent is still on his feet. He shoots. Okay, we got to talk about Michael Mann here a little bit.
His
And
love of gunfire.
his love of loud gunfire. Most of all, because not only in the alleyway where he shoots these two fucking thugs who are holding him up, but in this office where all this glass is, he is shooting off. I don't know if they are real rounds with actual bullets in them or if it is just made to sound real, because good God, this movie and in Heat, the guns in the Michael Mann movies just sound so intimidating.
They turn it way the fuck up. It's loud.
It's very loud. And this moment where Tom Cruise picks up a chair and throws it through a glass window, and he tries to jump over the chair, but then he kind of trips on the chair and he falls on his ass. That's just real. That was a mistake. He wasn't supposed to do that, but yeah, they just kept that in the movie.
It makes it real. It makes it feel like this guy is not going to stop at anything. He's not going to let a fucking chair stop him.
It makes it feel like he just got shot.
Or that too.
He's a little bit discombobulated, which I mean, I would be too.
And this is the point where that thing of chance comes back into play because he gets downstairs and he's looking, he can go left or he can go right. And he makes a decision to go right because that we know they went that way. He doesn't know that, but he lucks out that he goes the right direction. Then there's an upper level subway and a lower level. And even we don't know which one he picks because we don't see where Max and Annie ran. But he's standing there and he's trying to make a decision and he happens to get on the right one. And all of these events that happen just by chance, like the odds of 1 in 6 billion people coming together this way.
Yeah, like
and
this.
It keeps happening to the degree Vincent calls it out. Like our fates are intertwined, cosmic destiny, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Right.
And they get on the train and it's the right train and they cannot get off this train. There's no escaping this because every time the train stops, Vincent is waiting. So he's either going to get closer or he's going to get you when you get off the train. But either way, this is coming to a head right fucking now. And we already know Vincent is not going to give it up. He jumped on the back of a fucking subway, Terminator style, and comes through the door as close to that camera as he fucking could.
He is slamming these doors as he's going from car to car to car.
Yes.
And the music is continuing to go. And
percussive intensity.
it is fucking intense here because this is the final showdown. It's going to happen here. And again, just by luck, the lights go out at the very end. They're shooting at each other blindly.
Through a door. Max doesn't know what the fuck he is doing.
No, he is literally just kind of making a circle in the air with the gun and shooting it. That's all he knows how to do. But he gets the upper hand. He shoots Vincent. Vincent is out of bullets and he just sits down. I'm defeated. You got me. And I'm going to make this reference now to what I said before about a story about how LA is so disconnected. It is so spread out. Nobody knows each other. And he tells a story about some guy, some homeless guy who dies on the MTA, and nobody notices for hours and hours.
But that's what's so interesting about this, because he keeps saying LA is expansive and disconnected, but this entire movie is about how everybody in the movie is intertwined.
Exactly.
Because you've got all of these people who seem to be completely disconnected to one another. They have nothing in common until you realize the thing they do have in common.
Like the cops are, like the Mark Ruffalo character is making these connections when nobody else seems to be making them.
Or no one else cares enough to make them.
Yeah, like his partner is basically discounting everything that he's saying. He just wants to go home. And he is the only guy who believes Max. He's the only guy who knows the truth. But he gets killed. So Max has no backup. He has to kill Vincent.
Yeah. And it's a wild ride the whole time. So there's so many interesting themes that we haven't even really touched on. Like, or not even themes, just the movie in general, the kind of the color scheme of the movie. Like, it's very cool. It's blue and silver. That is just, Tom Cruise. He's this blue-eyed, silver-haired silver fox in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's, cold and distant kind of vibe, metal and steel, and it's nighttime, and then at the end of the movie the sun is coming up but the sky is very, very blue.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really cool in this movie. The thing with the coyotes, we didn't touch on the coyotes, the whole lone wolf aspect and the wilds of California blending in with the city of California. And the lone wolf man in this city he doesn't want to be in, that doesn't he doesn't belong there.
Yeah, and I mean, just to go along with the mood here, I identify this movie as the thing that made me realize who Chris Cornell was.
Yes.
Because Audioslave was his big comeback after Soundgarden. And again, I mean, this is 2004 when this movie comes out. I'm still not that into modern music or the rock music that I had grown to love in my later decades. And this song, Shadow of the Sun, it burrows into your soul.
The way they use it
so well into the mood of them just kind of driving around LA with, there is a goal here, but there's not really. And it's kind of it's a perfect match.
It's kind of a song about isolationism and melancholy.
Yeah.
And it's sort of just, it's a rock song, but it's kind of a sad rock song. And it just
That's also
really,
just Chris Cornell.
Right. It really contributes to the mood when they add it. And they use it twice. So first, it's when the coyotes are crossing the street and they have this really quiet moment, the two of them watching this wildlife in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And then again later, when Max decides, shit, this guy's going after Annie and I have to do something about it.
Yeah, they play it for the first time right before they get to the nightclub, and then they play it again after they leave the nightclub.
Yeah, and it's so tied to this movie for me, because when it starts, that music cue starts, I'm like, yeah. I don't know how to describe that vibe that you get when you're watching it and you hear that song, but there is a distinct feeling I have every time.
It's the melancholy. That's it's the best word I know how to describe it. Oh boy. So Betsy, I think this is where we have to start wrapping up here, but I know there's some other moments that we need to talk about. One thing I wanted to mention, as long as we're talking about like the vibes in LA and everything else, this movie is another one of the in the pantheon of LA movies, just like Training Day is, where the majority of the movie is taking place in a car with two people in the car.
In one day or one night.
In one day. Yeah. And I don't know whether or not these guys or these scripts or the writers had anything to do with each other, but the fact that these two movies came out very, very close together, and the fact that in both movies, LA is a central character in the entire vibe of both movies is just incredible to me. But honestly, I looked through my notes here just a little bit, and I don't really have much else to talk about. Betsy, what else did you have?
So one quick thing, and then I know you wanted to have a little bit longer conversation about something else. So the first thing, a few months ago, I was listening to a podcast where people were talking about Michael Mann, and the guest described Michael Mann movies as just guys trying to do their jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this movie, and when Tom Cruise was yelling about, quit screwing with my work,
Yep. Yep.
I was reminded of that line. I was like, that's a really apt description of his movies. It's just guys trying to do their job.
Yeah, and like when you think about Heat and the iconic scene of those two guys at the diner across from each other, Al Pacino says, "I'm going to do my job. I'm going to be the cop. I'm going to be the detective. I'm going to try to bust you." And De Niro is saying the exact same thing. "I'm going to try to pull off this job, and if it's your job to try to stop me, we'll see who comes out on top."
Yeah, Max is just driving the cab.
Yeah.
And Vincent is killing people.
And doing it very well. Both of them are doing their jobs very, very well.
But they're also fucking with each other's jobs at different points in the movie.
Yeah, and like I think right after he realizes, oh, he just killed somebody, Vincent asked, "Okay, how long to the next stop?" Because we've already demonstrated how well he is at estimating how long it's going to take to get somewhere. And he is just freaking the fuck out in the front of the cab, and he says, "I don't know, 12 minutes." He gets it that quickly. It's like a muscle memory for him. So it takes zero effort for him to pull that out.
And the other thing I wanted to talk about, and we touched on this a few weeks ago when we watched Wimbledon. We were talking about 2004 and what that did for Kirsten Dunst's career. She had a lot of stuff going on. And I was watching this movie realizing there's a couple people in this film who also had a really big 2004. One of them being Mark Ruffalo, because he was also in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and Collateral, getting to work with some very high-profile people on some very big, well-known projects. And also, of course, Jamie Foxx, because Jamie Foxx is the only other person in this movie who got nominated for an Academy Award. It was film editing and Best Supporting Actor. And this is also the year that Jamie Foxx won for Ray. He was nominated 2 times this year for an Academy Award. He just happened to win for the other one. And I mentioned to you while we were recording that he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And you immediately reacted to that quite negatively.
I mean, I just couldn't understand why you would say that this role is a supporting role. No, Max is the main character here. Now, you could say that they have equal billing. I would go as far as to say that. But like when we did our Thelma and Louise episode, those two both got nominated for Best Lead Actress for the same movie. Both of them got lead. And I would say if you're going to do anything, nominate both of the guys for lead if you're going to do anything. But I know it's the Oscars. It's very political.
Yeah.
And you're going to nominate them for the thing that you think that they're going to win. But the fact that Jamie Foxx was nominated both times, that doesn't happen very often.
Here's what I'm going to say to that. It is the thing you're talking about where you're going to campaign them in the category that they will win or are more likely to win. And when you have 2 guys at the forefront of a movie, you got to put somebody in supporting if you want to split it up instead of having them in the same category. And also, a bigger reason, Tom Cruise. Who is going to make a movie like this and campaign Tom Cruise as the supporting actor
in 2004?
In 2004, when Jamie Foxx, frankly, was still kind of a nobody in 2004.
And I think that's really what it is. It is his stature. His stature as an actor in Hollywood had not been established yet.
Yes, I agree. It probably would have made more sense to campaign him in the leading role. But if we looked back at it, I would be willing to bet at the same time they were campaigning him in supporting, they were trying to get a nomination for Tom Cruise in leading. And I wouldn't have been upset if he got it. However, he didn't. He did not get nominated at all. And I think if you had flipped these around, Jamie Foxx doesn't get nominated for this movie because he gets nominated for Ray and still probably wins. And Tom Cruise maybe could have had a chance at supporting. I'd have to go and look at the lineup to see who actually was winning and nominated that year.
Yeah.
But I feel like you had a better chance of getting 2 nominations if Tom Cruise was in supporting.
I agree. I think Tom Cruise is very much a better supporting. If you're going to separate them, put Tom Cruise in supporting and Jamie Foxx in lead. But because he also had Ray come out that same year, that's the movie that he was much more likely to win for, if not, get nominated for. So it makes sense from a political and strategic standpoint to do it this way. still is very surprising to me that you would consider him to be a supporting actor.
I really wish that they had put Tom Cruise in supporting, because that would have been a really cool nomination for him.
And he would have deserved it.
Yeah.
I mean, he is incredible in this movie. And I don't really like a lot of Tom Cruise movies.
It's because he plays it safe too often. When you go back to his early work, he was much more open to different kinds of films and trying things as an actor. And it's a really diverse body of work. And then at some point, something happened, and he suddenly got very protective of his image and the kinds of things he is doing. And it's not to say he's making bad movies, but they are definitely safer than maybe what he could be stretching himself to do. Because in 2004, this was an unexpected role, and he got to work with a really great director.
This
and
is also the time when he made fucking Tropic Thunder.
Right, and he fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Like, those two movies coming out within a few years of each other, they're the two most stand-apart roles I think I've ever seen from Tom Cruise.
And people love
Yes.
him in that movie and in this movie. So I don't know, man. Are you just trying to go for the fucking paycheck and that's it? And you don't want to experiment? You don't want to have fucking fun with your fellow actors? Man.
I also really would love, now that he's in his 60s, for him to just go gray, because I want to see it. I love it. I want to see old man Tom Cruise for real. When do I get that? He's holding on to that brown hair, and you know that's not brown anymore.
No, Betsy, he is powered by the power of Scientology, and that's really what is powering his not gray hair.
I think it's just hair dye, but it's fine. It's fine. Someday we'll get old man Tom Cruise. It just might be a really long time.
I don't know about that, but all right, Betsy. Anything else that you wanted to mention?
This movie fucking slaps, and I love it.
It's really incredible.
I really hope that you've already seen it if you've listened to this whole episode. But if you haven't, my God, please go watch it, because it's so fucking good.
Highly, highly recommended that you just go out and fucking buy this movie. If
just buy it.
If you don't already own this on 4K, wow, does this look incredible on a big screen in 4K. Well worth the investment. So we say to Michael Mann, to Tom Cruise, to Jamie Foxx, et al., welcome to the Never Seen It Movie Club, our personal Hall of Fame. Well deserved. Well deserved all around. That is going to be the end of Collateral. Betsy, next month is September. What are we going to be doing next month?
Well, if you've been paying attention to the main show, for several years now, we have been slowly checking off the films of one particular filmmaker, and there's a few that haven't been covered simply because they don't qualify. We've watched them many, many times.
Two in particular.
And of course, that filmmaker being Kevin Smith. So we are going to be inducting one of these two films that we have not yet covered into the Never Seen It Movie Club. Yes, we will be watching 1999's Dogma.
If you can believe it or not, it's celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. So it is fitting that we are going to cover Dogma for next month's Never Seen It Movie Club. Thank you again for being patrons of ours. Come back next month for Dogma. But until then, my name is Trent.
And my name is Betsy.
We'll see you then.